What's up, guys? So to start off, none of my videos are financial advice. I'm not an expert on financial markets, investing, nor am I a financial advisor. I'm just sharing my research on what I'm learning along the way, and hopefully it can help you. So before we get into the video, I would just like to highlight a comment I received that will be the main topic of the video. I'll put it somewhere in the screen, somewhere either here or there, somewhere you'll see it. So this video is going to be about ETFs and can you invest in ETFs on Robinhood. I will speak about what are ETFs and show you a few popular ETFs and show you what they look like on the Robinhood broker. Also, you can sign up for a SoFi investor broker down below. To me, having multiple stockbrokers are like having multiple bank accounts. If you don't have a Robinhood account, my referral link is down below as well. You always need a contingency. Say you have one bank account and something is wrong there, you have another bank account with money in there. So it's also good to have a contingency to your contingency. So that's why I also invest in cryptocurrency. But I'll get into cryptos in another video. So let's get into it. So to start off, what is an ETF? An ETF stands for Exchange Traded Fund. So an ETF is like a bundle investment or a basket of multiple stocks or securities. So I know that investing isn't for anyone and it isn't for everyone. I accept that. Nobody wants to get up and research stocks every day like it's the only thing that's on their mind. But if that definitely sounds like you, leave a comment or message me down below. I kind of need some friends because I'm tired. It's kind of lonely just researching all the time by myself, you know? But anyways, if you don't feel like a very confident investor or you don't feel like doing research on new companies on their day-to-day activities, ETFs are probably the right thing for you. So ETFs, when you invest in an ETF, is like having a company that does the research for you. They do their investment based on their prospectus. So prospectus includes their objectives, their risks, their fees, expenses, and other information they use to calculate their investments. So when you read a company's prospectus, you will really know what you're getting yourself into, what kind of sector they want to place themselves in, what kind of risk you're exposing yourself to, you know? So say invest $100, it's just like investing in one individual stock when you're investing in an ETF. Each percentage upwards is the same percentage growth you would get on your investment. So I would start by going into the most popular ETF, which is the SPY or the S&P 500. The S&P 500, you see it has 500. That means 500 companies. However, I won't go into all 500 companies. I'll just speak about the top 10. So I'll bring it up here. And you see, you can look for it on investopedia.com. You see the top 10 S&P 500 weighted stocks. So here we have Apple first as a number one, which is the largest company in the world. The second is Microsoft. So we all know these companies: Amazon, Facebook, Tesla. We have Alphabet, Google Class A shares, and Google also has another Class C shares. So there's two ways to invest in Google. Both of them it's the same company, they're just different shares issued. There's also Berkshire Hathaway, which goes under the ticker BERKB. And Berkshire, is run by Warren Buffett. Under Berkshire, you have companies such as Geico and Dairy Queen that most of us know about. There's Johnson & Johnson, which makes number 9 of the S&P 500. We all use Johnson & Johnson products, the lotions, the soaps. A lot of companies are under Johnson & Johnson, but we just don't know them. There's also number 10, JP Morgan or Chase Bank. That is the top 10 holding for the S&P 500. So that is one ETF you could put your money into, and these 10 companies are what your investment would be heavily based on. However, there are 490 other companies that your investment would be diversified into. So secondly, I have the ARKK Innovation ETF. You can actually look them up online. I'll leave the link for you in the description if you feel like you want to look it up for yourself. But the ARK Invest, you see ARK right here, they define disruptive innovation. So they are led by the CEO, Kathy Wood, and her aim is to invest in all technology disruptive mainly because they see where disruptive technology will really shape our future. So in the ARKK ETF, they mainly have Tesla. You see Tesla again. They have Roku. Most of us know Roku. They are the TV service provider. They also create TVs as well with the inbuilt Roku inside of them. It's like Netflix, but they have a whole another system and they're very profitable. There's Teladoc. You know, a lot of people don't want to go to the doctors now, so they want to just call and get like a prescription, get diagnosed, all of that. There's Square. All of us know Square. Square has Cash App and also they use Square for POS systems. There's CRISPR. That's genomics technology. There's Invite. I actually looked it up because I'm not very versed on Invite and I don't really invest in ARKK's ETF. But Invite is a genetic testing technology. There's Zillow, which is a real estate company. There's Baidu, which is a Google search engine, but they've started to move closer to the autonomous technology. So they're coming close to competing with Tesla in the field of autonomous driving. There's Spotify. Most of us know Spotify. It's the music company. And there is also Proto Labs, which is a 3D printing company. And then my last one now is the EEM ETF, which is an emerging market ETF. The top 10 holdings of that is the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. Semiconductors are what? Like you put in your phones, your computers. Sometimes they make some for even vehicles too, because you know most of the vehicles are controlled by computers now. There's Tencent Holdings, a big tech company in China, and also they make video games. There's Alibaba. You know, most of us know Alibaba as the e-commerce place where you can shop for things wholesale. Samsung Electronics. Samsung, you know, the phone, and they probably also go into batteries and other electronics. I know they make TVs, fridges, washing machines. Samsung is a huge company. This one, Meituan Class B, is also a part of the EEM technology. When I looked it up, it was another Chinese shopping platform. It might not be popular to us, but it's popular to them and they're very profitable. They're probably very profitable. There's also Naspers Limited, a technology company that seems to be growing out of South Africa. There's JD, which makes up another part of their 10 companies, which is another e-commerce platform in China. There's Reliance Industries, the China Construction Bank, and also NIO, which you know is the electric vehicle company coming out of China. So you see where those would be the top 10 holdings of those companies. So when you invest in an ETF, you're not getting exposure to just one company. You're getting exposure to whatever the investors or researchers in that ETF are putting their money into. And depending on what you really like, you can invest in an ARK Internet ETF. You can invest in just the Dow, which is just industries. It really depends on what you like and if you want them to invest for you and where you want your money to be exposed to. So finally, I will just pull them up on Robinhood and show you their potential returns on a year-to-year basis. From there, you can draw your estimate on how much you would have returned if you were to invest in them from the start of the year. So say you invest $100 and you get a 10% return. That's just $10 on your investment. It might seem like just $10, but it's $10 that you didn't work for. It's $10 that you got paid back. If you had invested $1,000, you would have received $100 on your investment. So let me pull up the SPY right now on Robinhood. So all of these are on Robinhood. You can trade them right now if you want to. So on the year, say Robinhood would have given, no, not Robinhood, the S&P 500, the SPY ETF, would have given you a 16% return on your investment. So it might seem little to some people, but it's very stable. It's almost, there's less exposure to the downside. It's harder for these ETFs to crash. They have a lot of holdings that kind of make them more stable, you know. So you would have received a 16% increase on your investment. Say you had invested in the SPY over the year, on a year-to-year basis. So let's go to the ARKK. So the ARKK, which is the Innovation ETF, you'd have seen a return of 163% over the year. So say you had invested $100, you would have had $263 right now over the year. Because ARK did really good. You know, most of the companies in ARK, Tesla, Square, Baidu, they actually had a really great year last year. So ARK is really doing good, and Cathie Wood is probably the main headline for a lot of news reporters right now, because where they used to think that her estimates were outlandish, now everything is coming into play. So on the EEM now, we see where over the year you'd have received a 26% increase on your money. So say you had $100 in, you'd have received 26.56 on your investment. It's not great, but it's actually very stable, and if you invest a lot of money, this is a way to just have a constant return on your income. So on the comment, he actually asks, what are my thoughts on ETFs versus individual stocks? So my thoughts on ETF personally, it's good for some people, but I like to mainly invest my own money in what I like. Basically, I enjoy doing my own research, so that's actually leisure for me, and putting my money where my mind is, which is something that I spoke about in my first video. However, I actually hold a position in ARK Genomics ETFs, which is an ETF based around all the technology companies that are really doing good in the genomic space, mainly CRISPR and PACB. So I hold a position in ARK Genomics, and also I hold in not an ETF, well, it is an ETF. Yeah, the Vanguard Total Stock Market ETF, which is an exposure to the entire stock market. So every stock in the stock market is on this ETF. And I just want to have exposure to that overall. I think it's very safe, and I mean, why not? For me, why not have exposure to the total stock market? So that's why I invest in ARK Genomics and also the VTI, which is the Vanguard Total Stock Market ETF. So if you've reached this far of the video, I know it was probably crazy long. Maybe it wasn't that bad, but thank you. I hope that my research helped you, even if it was just a teeny tiny microscopic of ways. Thank you. Just please like, leave a comment, anything you want me to speak on. I'll make a video for it just like this one, and share it. It really helps YouTube to suggest this video to other people who might like content just like this. And see you in the next one. Bye.